Good morning. Good morning, guys. Welcome. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm on UJ cells for now. I entered happen sooner or later because we have also a 4 hour breakout. $15 pips is going to be the stop loss, and that means in the middle of consolidation. And as you know, if accidentally something happens with price and closes back in the range, then we have the chance when it comes back for retest to exit. That's why I'm not going to use a very small stop like this, because I want to leave myself some space if price gets back in the range, so I can, manage this and not take a loss. Now with UJ, we have to be very patient because it moves very slow. Moves very slowly, and it's not that kind of like GJ that gives you 20 pips in 10 minutes. For UJ can take some time to move, but still when it starts to move, it goes really well. It doesn't really disappoint. Okay, so now we have a close below. That's a good sign. Here, this candle closed below, even though it pushed a bit higher, but still. So as long as we close below this level, we will be good to continue down. These are just more confirmations for us that price should continue down. The more rejections we have, it just gets better. The zone gets stronger, and then you know what to expect, a big move. Euro USD 1 hour break and retest. Somebody's saying that Euro USD has a 1 hour break and retest. Okay, let's take a look. Euro USD is at resistance, so be careful. And you can see clearly the zone that I'm referring to on Euro USD. So now price is sitting right at that resistance here. For a break and retest, you need to wait for a close above, then a retest and continuation to this next level here. That's what I would do on this case on Euro USD. But for now, you can see that it's at resistance and it closed just below that zone. I think you need to stay out of this for now. Take a look at GJ. GJ looks like can continue and fill this range. You know, since we had this zone on the previous days and it actually got respected a few times. Now you can see these candles that got rejected and this one closed above, but still for me there's no trade on GJ. I would rather just watch on GJ and do nothing. The cleanest for now is UJ for me, and I'm gonna stick to that until I'm done. And we'll see how it goes. Somebody is on Euro GBP shorts, okay? It's not a pair I trade. It's one of the pairs that I've never traded, almost never, because it never really respected levels like I wanted to. You are currently on Euro GBP shorts, but I don't see the reason here why in shorts. It doesn't make sense to me why you're in shorts, because looks like we have a small support here, and if you're in shorts, you still didn't break this support here, and the next one looks like here. I don't know what's the reason of selling Euro GBP. I think there's no setup on Euro GBP. See, this zone matches with 4 hour 2. I think this can continue still to the upside. And you have also rejections that happened before at the same level here. So I need to be careful. Gonna see how UJ is gonna do today. It's been consolidating for a long time and needs to continue. Since we got close below, we should continue down. Also, daily has a lot of rejections, and I think it's time to move down now. And as you can see, plenty of rejections on the daily. And this zone is pretty strong. There's no doubt why we had so many rejections and it's been consolidating for so long. Look at how strong this zone here is. All these daily candles rejecting. Now, when we go on the 1 hour, still at the same level. It's pushing higher, but let's see. Thing is, also on the 4 hour, I don't know. I don't think there's a rejection on the 4 hour because the 4 hours is the same as on 1 hour. Look at all these rejections and this candle closed below all these candles. Now this one should have continued. Thing is, now it's the second time of the retest. Because we already had a break and retest, but the move wasn't enough. This was the first one, but only moved like 10 pips to the downside. It wasn't enough. Not for me. Sometimes I use 10 pips for UJ, but when you have a clear zone to the downside, there's no need to take profits at 10 pips. Why not waiting for 20 pips? And today we'll see what happens. Maybe we're gonna have just another day with lots of consolidation, but there's plenty of time to go until we have London, then New York, and yeah, we're in the middle of the week, so plenty of time. See, it has a lot of big potential to continue down. I'm expecting a big move today here on UJ, and we'll see. This is the next range I'm expecting to fill for UJ, and you can see the last time that happened here. It's only 20 pips, but UJ has small ranges, so don't expect too much. But if we break then also this support, it has to continue all the way down and fill this range. See, we have clean traffic on the left. And this is, yeah, plenty of pips, 70 pips. Pretty nice. Unless it's gonna decide to continue up. Then we'll know what to do if it does close back in the range. Just gonna clean this chart a bit. There's no need to mark what happened before. We want to know what's happening now. That was just for a demonstration what happened. And I did draw this fake out just to tell you that this is the zone that we should concentrate in. This was just a fake out that happened. One push and all these rejections tells you where the zone is at. Now we're gonna wait and see what happens. If price gets close back into range, then we know what to do. We wait for that retest and continuation to the upside. Daily tells us that this should continue down. 1 hour and 4 hour does the same, unless we get some signs of sells, or buys. We need a strong close below back in the range to say that this is going to continue up. But for now, everything we have is for sells. Uh, 20 pips for buys if it does close above. For fake outs, usually I use a smaller stop loss because there's no need for a bigger stop loss. For example, if this does close back in the range, yeah, I think it can be the same. For example, entry should be here, let's say at 300, and stop loss would be around here at 200, only 10 pips, because once it comes back all the way back down here, then it should continue all the way down. So everything it does, it should stay above or below this level. That's what I think. So we'll wait and see, because we never know. Can still reject to the downside. There's plenty of time until the 1 hour closes. Yeah, yesterday was ranging all day. We didn't really get that much yesterday. It was just ranging, and you can see on UJ chart, this was all yesterday. All this consolidation. Was expecting a breakout yesterday, didn't happen. Pushed to the upside, didn't break to the upside, came back down again. And it's still at the same place. It hasn't been moving that much. And also for buys, I forgot to mention, I wouldn't take buys unless the 4 hour close is also back in the range. See, the 4 hour is also close below, so unless this candle closes above here, that's when I would think for buys. Yeah, if the 1 hour close is bullish back in the range, the trade's not going to be valid anymore. But if 1 hour closes back in the range and it comes for a retest, I wouldn't take that unless the 4 hour closes back in the range too. I would just stay out until the 4 hour also closes and see then what's going to happen. For now, still holding. Let's see what's going to happen here. Whatever happens, we know what to do and how to manage the trade. Like I said before, this is the level on GJ. This is where all the candles were rejected and closed above this level. So this level, the level that we should look for a break and retest. And you can see we just had other confirmations that this is the right level. Here you have almost one, two, three, four candles that got rejected on the same level after closing below. Now this candle here, we'll see what happens with this candle, because this still can reject the downside. If it does close back in the range, then I'll tell you what we have to do. Let's see. UJ is going to take some time. It does move pretty slow, so I have to be patient. Let's take a look at other pairs and see what we have. GJ, not that much. I don't see something good on GJ. GJ can continue down too. Yeah, based on the daily, GJ can go all the way down. Sorry if I say it up. So The thing is on GJ is that first we got close below this daily level, and then we got this deep retest which went a bit higher than expected, but still managed to come down and close below. Then we had this candle that came all the way up again. Somehow this also pushed higher than expected, but still you can see how it came back and closed below the zone. Now this candle might be the retest for more continuation to the downside on GJ. This is what I see based on the daily. Because we had 2 times and we couldn't stay above this level, this daily level. And now I think this is just a wick for more continuation to the downside. We'll see, but this is what I see. Unless we break this level on lower time frames, then we can see something like that, but I still see sells on GJ here. This looks like a classic fake out, but we can't say it's a fake out because we didn't get a close above. It did what it did, still came back and closed below this level. And now we can have that continuation, maybe fill this range, this daily wick here. So we'll see. Let's see on the lower time frame what we can expect. Yeah, maybe we can expect something like this. We can expect this to break below here and make the retest. Then we can go for this range to the downside to fill this range. Since the daily is showing sell signs, and what we can expect on lower time frame is just wait for a break of a level, then we can see what we can do. UJ still at the same place. If we want this trade to be valid for more, we need this candle to come and close below. AUDUSD 1 hour, if it breaks, let's take a look at AUDUSD. Yeah, AUDUSD looks pretty good. Let's see if it's gonna break today or not. This is also a 4-hour level. If we go on the 4-hour, we can see clearly. See? Yeah, it can be very nice if it does close above, if we do have a break and retest here, would be pretty nice. But we'll see. Gonna have to wait and see. It's gonna be pretty slow, but we will see. Let's take a look at GBP USD. Might have something interesting maybe for us. Clear the charts and see what's happening. GU has been pretty messy these last days. Haven't traded in a while. Has created plenty of zones, and the best I see here is this one. And the support here. We're in the middle of this range, which doesn't really look that good. See, most of the charts doesn't have like a certain zone that we can focus on. I'm thinking about GBP pairs, but you look AUDUSD and UJ, they are perfect. They have the perfect levels which we can base our trade on, and we'll see. It doesn't matter if this is going to be a fake out because we know what to do when a fake out happens. So you shouldn't be worried at all. And it's a very small range here. Only not even 4 pips in drawdown, even though this candle looks big. That's like 3-4 pips move only. The only thing we need is price to stay. If it decides to stay and close back in the range, we need price to stay around here. So when it makes that small retrace or retest, we can exit without waiting for price to go straight to our stop loss. That's what we need. Or if it decides to go down, we need a close below this level, which for now doesn't really look good, but there's still hope because we have another 30 minutes left. Let's see. GJ is pushing too, but I think I'm gonna stay these days away from GJ. It's just the levels are pretty messy, and I want to be in a trade when it's clear. Even if I take a loss, I know why I took it. But on GJ it's pretty messy. On UJ, even if I take a loss, I know why I did take that loss. And I know how to make it back, so let's see. So the 4-hour candle basically is above the previous breakout candle. And that's not a good sign because whenever that happens, a fake out is expected. Unless something big happens and we get that drop, but for now I think it's going to be very hard to come all the way down. since whenever this happens, when the retest candle goes above or below the breakout candle, that gives a sign that there's going to be a fake out most of the time, but you never know what's going to happen, so we will see. AUDUSD is pushing. We'll see, maybe AUDUSD gives us a nice setup. AUDUSD still respected this level. 2 days ago we took a trade on this level, and looks like still it's respecting that. Now I think we can take a trade here if we have a breakout, because see, this previous candle told it's just a sign that we have a good level here. It got rejected. Now it's the second time, and looks like maybe we can have a break here. Gonna have to wait and see. We have to wait for the 1 hour candle to close. Whatever we want to do, 1 hour needs to close before making a decision. Of course for me, because I only trade 1 hour and up, no lower time frame than 1 hour. Yesterday I took a trade after the stream. Euro New Zealand made a fake out, and somebody I think shared a sell setup, and it went pretty nice. But then we got this big push to the upside, which resulted to be closed back in the range. Then when it made this retest, I took some buys and got this nice movement to the upside of 20 pips. You can see still respecting this level, and we can count this as a zone, and we can see if we can look for sells maybe if we get it close to below this, because this level is respected pretty well. You can look further and see how many times we got rejected from the same level, and it always got respected. It's also 4 hour level, so it matches perfectly on both time frames. When you have a zone on both time frames, 1 hour and 4 hour, you feel very comfortable taking that trade. And that's why I don't use smaller time frame than 1 hour, because then I get confused. 30-minute can tell you different, 1 hour different, 15-minute different, so less pairs, less time frames, better, and less confusing. For me, of course, because a lot of people can use small time frames for their trading. So I'm just speaking for myself, what makes me feel more comfortable. Can you check my opinion on UJ according to this break and retest? Okay, sure. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. We already had previous retests, but I said that the move wasn't big enough for us. It only went 10 pips. And I said we want a bigger move than that to fill this range first, and then we'll see. But I said it wasn't enough a 10 pip move. That's why it's not that I took the trade here. I took the trade 4 hours ago on UJ when it made this first retest, because I was up when it happened. But the thing is, it didn't go much. It only went 10 pips and it wasn't enough for me. I wanted to hold more to continue and fill this range first, because I think it has that capacity to do it when it makes the breakout. But for now, it's not showing good signs. So the best sign would be this candle to close below. That would be the best sign for us. First retest is always the best and the safest to take, because when the breakout happens, the momentum is strong and you just go with that momentum. The more it takes to develop that trade, it just becomes more risky then. Let's see what news we have today. Not too much. USD news later on today. We have CPI on CAD, which doesn't say that it's high impact. Yeah, nothing much on the news today. We'll see. So somebody's saying the real resistance for UJ is 107.200. Well, I explained this a lot of times. If you think the real resistance is here, then what about all these rejections here? What about all these rejections here? Is this not enough for you to see that this is the right zone, or just these 3 candles here and this one here that I said before it was a fake out? You see it closed back in the range, made a small retest and went up. This for me is not enough. I can't count. This can be a minor zone, but the major zone is this one here. Look at all these rejections. This should be enough for you to know that this is the zone that we should look for break and retest. But this zone that you're saying can be used, for example, if we get if this starts to move down. You can wait and not take the trade here, but you can wait if it does close above this. You can wait for a retest for more continuation, just to find another entry, let's say. But this is the zone for me. I don't see how this can be just one or two rejections. Yeah, look back to 11th June. Still, it's not enough for me. See, still, even if you go back, still this zone is the strongest from all the other zones. When I want to take a trade, I look which zone is stronger. I just go with the major zones rather to take a minor zone. I expect minor zones after respecting the major ones. I expect minor zones to be broken easier than major zones. Just gonna clean this chart a bit, got messy a bit. There was nothing wrong in this trade. Usually, there's always a reason why a loss happens, for example, or a fake out. On this, I don't really see a problem. There was no problem. The only problem was that we took it on the second retest. It's not that I did it because I took it on the first retest, but we can count this as a second retest. And as I said before, the more it tries to break that zone, it becomes riskier. And the move already happened 10 pips, but it wasn't enough for me. That's why I held this trade and didn't close. So this candle also closed back below this support, and there was no reason for me to think about sells. We also are at daily resistance. We have rejected the same level for 3-4 days in a row. Now we'll see. Maybe it's going to be just another day with a lot of consolidation. It can be same as yesterday. Well, let's see. We have another 10 minutes, 13 minutes left on this candle, and we'll see. It almost seems impossible this to go all the way down in this candle, but anything can happen. The best thing is that it's not pushing to our stop loss before the 1 hour candle closes, because we can manage this to not take a loss and to exit on break even. That's the best thing. I always say if I'm getting stopped out, I want it to be closer to the candle close, because sometimes it just pushes like 20 pips, hits your stop loss, and on the that means on the first 10 minutes, then on the 15 minutes that's left, it can go all the way to your target, and that's the worst thing, because then you want to enter again, and you need to risk a lot more than you should have risked before. CGJ got rejected also. Like I said, the daily should continue down. Daily should continue down until this fell this range. No, this is GBP USD. But yeah, same happened with GJ. It has the same setup. Still, even GJ and GU, they both maybe gonna drop, but let's see. My focus is on UJ to see how it's gonna close and what we can do with this. And like I said, buys will not be considered here unless the 4 hour breaks too, closes back in the range, I mean. You know what can happen here is that this candle can close somewhere here, and that would be like an indecision candle, because even if we get a close back in the range, we need a strong close, so we know for sure that price now is gonna continue up. But if it stays like an indecision candle, leaves a big wick, closes around here, that's the thing that then you need to decide what you want to do, if you want to hold or not, because closing would be maybe not a good idea, because price would still be below this level on the 4 hour. 4 hours would still be open. Holding would be still a bit risky, so I don't know, we'll see what happens. It's only 2 pips above, and that's the thing, because we need a stronger close above. We need like at least 5 pips on UJ, maybe 10, but 10, it would be to have a 10 pips close back in the range would have to come at 400, which doesn't really seems optional now for UJ. Let's see. Maybe it's gonna close below. It's coming slowly. We have another 7 minutes. Let's check the 4 hour. Yeah, the 4 hour is the same. The same level is on 4 hour too. Not much. See, it's been an hour and we didn't really have too much movement at all. Market has just been ranging, nothing big happening. There's a big rejection on GJ. .30 pip wick. That's pretty big for GJ. Because it looks like it rejected this level again. And like I said before, if we want to take a trade here, I think it needs to come below this previous candle. And we can get a close below that, then a retest to continue down. UJ is gonna close in a weird place. Whatever happens on UJ, we can still find an entry later. Like I said, whatever happens, if we get close back in the range and price decides to go later on to the downside, we can wait for this to happen. Or even if this can happen too, if we get again a drop below this current candle here, we can do something like this also, because I still think this level should be respected whatever happens here. This is the level we should focus on taking trades. But if you want to feel more comfortable, you can wait for this low here to break, then you can enter on the retest. If you just want to be more comfortable in this trade. Hello from Huntington Beach, California. Hello, hello. It's really interesting how this thing may, takes all people in one place. We have people from all around the world, and it's pretty nice actually. And I'm very thankful that I can, give help you guys, whatever it is. I hope you find this helpful. Let's see. So it seems like UJ is gonna close back in the range because it's 2 minutes left and it's not moving in a way that we can expect something from it. So I think it's gonna close back in the range. Let's see. Once it does close, and once it makes a small retracement, we can exit. Or we can even exit here. Can take a 5 pip loss here. How long have you been trading? I've been trading since 2016, which means 4 years now. Okay, now we have a close back in the range. So what you can do here is now wait for price to come to close at break even, or you can take a 5 pip loss here, or you can wait for stop loss to hit, which is not a good idea. For me, I think I'm gonna take a small loss here. Because it's not a valid trade anymore. I closed at 5 pips in drawdown. This trade is not valid anymore because it closed back in the range. And we can't say it's a fake out. Because it's not a fake out. The break and retest worked, but it came back in the range after some tries to continue down, which only did like 10 pips move to the downside, then broke to the upside again. Yeah, now I'm not gonna think about buys because 4-hour is not closed yet. Unless the 4-hour closes back in the range too, then I will start to think about buys. Now we will see what's gonna happen. Let's take a look at AUD USD. AUDUSD didn't close as we expected because should have closed at least 10 pips above, just where this candle pushed around there, then a retest, but still closed like in the middle of the range, and I can't count this as a breakout. Unfortunately, we still have to wait, because see, we have the level also on the 4-hour. See, also Euro New Zealand didn't close like we wanted below this support. Should have been a better close, at least another 10 pips below. Let me take a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, needs to close below all this wicks on the left. Let's take a look at Euro AUD. Euro AUD, yeah, Euro AUD closed below this, but I don't know, it looks a bit messy because we had a zone here before, but then here didn't respect that zone. You can see how as it went through it a few times. Like there's no zone in there anymore. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust it yet. See on the 4-hour, if you look closely, we have rejections. See, we have rejections. Now price touched this, and now it's rejecting on the 4-hour. On the 1-hour, we might see a retest of this level, but when you have in between, when you have price in between two zones, I usually skip that, because for me it's risky to trade in between two zones unless the zone is too big to let us take a trade in there. Same is with AUD/USD. Looks like the best option for now is to wait for 4-hour candles to close. So we'll see. I'm still gonna wait for UJ and see what happens, because whatever it does, it's gonna give us a lot of pips once it breaks for real on either side, up or down. I still have sell bias here just because of the daily. See, the daily, as long as it stays below, there's no point of thinking about buys. We have a pretty strong resistance here. It's going to be hard for this to break, but anything can happen, so we'll see. GJ, nothing much. GJ, it looks the same. Take a look at Euro, New Zealand first. This can continue down easily, even though we didn't have a good close below. But based on this candle, how strong it closed, I think we can have a nice drop to the downside. But I wouldn't take a trade if I wouldn't see a strong confirmation. This should have been closed around here, then the retest. See how Euro USD got rejected from this level. That's why I said to wait for a break of this level. See how big the rejection was. Yeah, maybe the best would be to take some sells on EU here. Since we got rejected from that resistance. And now it closed below this small minor zone here. And also UJ broke up to the upside. Yeah, I'm gonna take some sells on Euro USD here. It moved a bit faster and it went a bit lower than should have been. But I'm gonna take some sells on Euro USD. Let's try this. Everything is moving too slow, so I'm gonna have a try on Euro USD. I'm gonna put my stop right where this previous candle started, which will be 10 pips. Yeah, if it comes higher a bit here, I'll make a better entry. Okay, I took an entry here. Okay, so we got rejected from 4-hour resistance. We have this minor zone here. It closed and this should be the retest for continuation to the downside. First should fill this range here, then come lower to fill this bigger range. But their first target should be this next support here, which is, let's see how many pips. Yeah, 12 pips. Not too big, but why not? 10 pips can be nice. Wow, this was perfect. Okay, first take profit hit. It's how many pips we have here? We have 12 pips. I'm securing most of it. I'm securing most of it here at 10 pips. I'm moving my stop at break even, and I'm gonna leave it run. I'm gonna leave a runner or two. What I do is I close 80% and I leave 20% to run. What a nice trade. Euro USD didn't make us wait at all. Stop loss at break even. But UJ took a lot of time, and at the end didn't produce anything. Yeah, this was perfect. Let's see if it's gonna give us some more pips here. Like I said, 20 was pretty easy. 10 pips was pretty easy to give. Let's see. See how we got rejected from this zone? Because there are plenty of rejections here, and it might have some problems to break. But anyway, that was our first target. If we have a zone at 10 pips, then there's no point of waiting for 20 pips and hoping for this zone to break, when you can take most of your profits here and leave some at break even. And that's what we did. We took around, how many pips we had here? 13 pips, and stop loss at break even. We closed 80%, and that's perfect. Pretty big rejection. Anyway, stop loss is at break even for the 20% left, so it doesn't really matter. If it does close my runners, then I'm done with this setup, and I can be looking for something like this then for another entry. Let's see. UJ did push up a bit, but still, see, all this move, it's not even 10 pips on UJ. It's just too slow. And as long as it stays in this consolidation box, there's nothing good happening in there. GJ is pushing up again. Let's see. Maybe we can have a trade here on GJ to the upside if it does push up. Gonna wait and see because there are plenty of setups coming. AUD/USD can also close above. Gonna have to wait and see. See, Euro New Zealand also did the same. Rejection after this candle closed pretty good. I expected this, and when I saw Euro USD, basically it was the same setup. I didn't hesitate at all because Euro USD made a lot more sense and it was very clean setup. We'll see now. If I get stopped at break even, there's no runner anymore. Yes. Yes, so I got stopped at break even now for the 20%. It was a nice trade. Now what we can wait is this one. A break and retest of this level on Euro USD. And what we can expect here is a break and retest of this level on USD JPY. It's gonna take some time to come all the way up here, but you know, there's plenty of time until the end of the day. So gonna have to wait and see. We have a small, you know, the middle of the consolidation. If you've seen one of my videos about consolidation boxes, is that in every consolidation box we have a middle zone. And whenever it gets rejected from support and comes back all the way up, we can use the middle zone as a zone for an entry to continue and fill the range. But on UJ, it's a pretty small range and the middle zone is not that clear. Even though I see a lot of rejections at this. I see a lot of rejections at this point here on UJ, but it's pretty messy, even though there were a lot of rejection at this point, which can be used as a zone here to continue up and fill the range. But we will see. Let's just not forget that trading consolidation boxes, it's a bit risky. I mean, trading inside the consolidation boxes, it's always risky. It's always better to wait until it breaks the whole box. But since we had this move, this try to go down and it couldn't, then it's coming back up. We can use this as a small retest to continue and fill the range. But it just need to be careful. even though now the 4 hour is pretty bullish, and I don't expect a drop here anymore, because look at how the 4 hour pushed all the way up, and it's pretty strong. We'll see, maybe we're gonna have a break to the upside and we can take it. It can be also a 4 hour break, which would be even better for us. Would be a lot more comfortable taking it. See, like I said, once the retest candle goes above the breakout candle, there's no hopes anymore. You're gonna have a fake out there. That's what happens most of the time. Yeah, I'm gonna focus on UJ because it's pushing really nice now, and it might give us a good setup here. Euro USD can still push to the downside, just that now it's the second time, and it's already done the move that we expected, so we will see. If we want to take a trade in the middle of the consolidation, like I said, based on this zone, if we take it, we can use something like this, a stop loss just below this candle here, which would be around 5 pips. Be around 5 pips stop loss, and it would be 10-15 pips target. And then if you have a breakout, you can hold even longer and extend your target. But we will see what happens. No trade for now. Somebody saying USD CAD. Okay, if you guys see anything or want to check a chart, you can send charts also. Just send the link and I'll review it. USD CAD. USD CAD is pretty nice. We'll see. Yesterday I took a loss on USD CAD on the break and retest of this zone here because I think the news had the effect. The push came after the news, and you can see how didn't manage to continue up, still came back down, and has to continue down, I think now. Yeah, so we just need to close below this. I would say this level on the 4-hour, but since we have a lot of rejections at this level, maybe it would be better to wait for this to break first. If we get close below this, then we retest and we can take some sells. Yeah, let's see. But this is the plan. We need a close. I would use a 20 pip stop loss. First, wait for a breakout. Okay, somebody saying where can I find that indicator of risk reward for MT5? Well, I don't know what indicator do you mean, but there are some that you can get at MT5 page. You can go there or just search on Google. I think you can find some. Can find something. There are plenty of indicators that you can use for risk management or for your positions to close them all, or just for different things. For example, for me, that I open a lot of positions, there are indicators that will help you close half and manage them easier. You mean this one? Because this one is only in trading view, but there are others that are for MetaTrader. My favorite pair. Is GPP JPY. Even though it's not giving me a lot of setups lately, but of course it's my favorite, and every time I trade it, it doesn't disappoint me. USD CAD is also one of my favorites. A lot of big wins came from USD CAD. USD CAD makes some great respects levels very nice, and every time it gives us setup, gives us a lot of pips. UJ is good also. Its only bad thing about it is that it moves too slow. Have a lot of big wins on USD JPY, because like I said before, once it breaks, it moves a lot. Only that it takes too much time until it makes that breakout. Well, I wouldn't get rid of UJ because time from a time it can give you a very nice setup. I wouldn't delete it because once it gives you a good setup, it can go pretty nice. See, when it starts to drop, there's no stopping after it. Or when it starts to push, look at this push. When it starts to trend, it goes really well. You can catch a lot of entries in the meantime. The only thing is that it consolidates a lot. You can just see this big consolidation. And the worst thing is that it didn't make a retest at all. It made this big consolidation for days, then didn't get a retest at all. It just pushed through it. I think it was some kind of news. It also helped it to push to the upside. Okay, let's check CAD JPY. CAD JPY, not a pair that I usually trade on daily, but if it does give a good setup, why not? Yeah, seems pretty same, consolidating for a long time. Yeah, looks like there's no traffic on the left on CAD JPY, and I think we can wait for a break here. We have a pretty good range to the upside, around 50 pips, yeah. If we do close above this, we can easily continue up. There's no traffic on the left. And we're gonna wait for this level, because this is only a fake out. This was only a fake out. As you can see, it came back in the range, closed below, made the retest and went all the way down. And you can see also this rejected on the same level, this rejected on the same level, this one and this one. So the same now, we can wait for close above this, a retest and continuation to the upside. It is a clean traffic to the upside and we have a good range. 50 pips is a lot. It would be pretty nice. Yeah, if it does close above and USD CAD closes below, we would have two setups in our hand and make profit from both of them. Okay, let's see. Let's check gold. Okay, gold looks pretty nice on the 4 hour. Also on the 1 hour. If it does break below, gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, so this needs to close below, then a retest and continuation to the downside. It's pretty good because we have a lot of rejections here. Even though gold moves a bit strange lately, so should be careful if you trade it, because I'm not gonna trade it even if it does a break or retest here. I've deleted it since coronavirus started, so since then started to move pretty strange, and spread went higher. There was a time where nobody couldn't trade gold. Then it came back at normal, but still I don't trust it. Only break and retest. If you'll follow me long enough, you know that I've been trading break and retest only for a long time. And I'm not planning to change it, because it's simple and it's very effective and there's no too much complications. With only, good practice, you can master it, and it can make you a lot of pips and money. But everything needs time, so just like it took me a while until I mastered it. First I started with only 10 pips, then I went up and started to make 20 pips, and I made a rule of 20 pips target always, because from my experience, every time we had a break on the retest, always at least a 20 pip move happened. Unless we have a zone closer or lower than 20 pips, then we can think to close the trade earlier than that, just like we did with Euro USD. We didn't wait for 20 pips because there was a zone 10-13 pips on the way, and we didn't want to risk, and you saw how we got rejected from that zone. You don't take a trade and hold the trade with hopes. As they say, trade what you see, not what you want to see. Of course, we want to trade to go in our way, but if there are confirmations and signs that price is going to go in your opposite, then there's no point of holding it with hopes, because that's how most of the accounts are blown, hoping that price will reverse and come to your entry and or your way. It looks like even in this hour We're not gonna have a breakout. Still we have another 15 minutes, but yeah, I used the currency strength meter, but I didn't base my trade on it. I just used it as, you know, another confirmation for me. This one. But no, guys, don't base your trade based on this, because this just tells the current strength for these pairs. This can be used maybe just a confirmation for your trade. If you have a break, let's say on USD JPY, if you have a break and the retest is happening, and you check this and you see that JPY is very weak and USD is pretty strong, it just gives you more confidence maybe holding that trade. But never trading based only on this, because this changes all the time. See, JPY was very weak, now it's starting to get some strength, so it changes all the time and you can't really base your trading on it. Yeah, of course, this, like I said, should only be used for that. Even though it's been a long time, I don't even watch that anymore. I don't need it. You don't need anything else. You need a candle to close below a price support or resistance. You need a retest, and that's all. Of course, you need to watch for other details, like if it's coming from another zone, which can be a bigger zone on a higher time frame, which can cause the fake out. So need to look out for a few things before taking a break and retest. Set your target, stop loss, and you'll be good. If something does look good for you guys, you just have to go and do some backtesting. Do some backtesting and see how it works, if it does work for you, because not every time the same thing that works for someone works for the other one. Because there are people that can't stand in front of charts for too long, have other things to do, and they look for a strategy that doesn't require standing on the charts when they take a trade. They look for more like a swing trade or something. So you just have to find something that works for you. And if this is what works for you, then great. You just need to do a lot of backtesting to, master it, because it's pretty simple. What about stop loss? Did you try with a smaller stop loss compared to TP to have a bigger risk reward? No, I didn't. It's not that I use always 20 pips stop loss, because there's some times when you don't need 20 pips, just like we didn't need on Euro USD. You saw the trade earlier. I don't know if you saw it or not. I'm gonna open it again and tell you the trade we took. Yeah, it's still there. See, the entry was here at 700, and I only used 10 pips because there was no need of using 20 pips here. But sometimes you need a 20 pip stop loss in different occasion or different setup. So there are times when you only need 10 pips, because if price would go all the way up to this candle, it wouldn't be valid anymore. Just like I said before, on UJ, what happened? Once the retest candle goes above or below the breakout candle, there's a very high chance that there's going to be a fake out there. So in this case, the candle was very close and it was only needed 10 pips. And we had 13 pips take profit. So that's the thing. But usually, for example, if I trade GJ, it's going to be 1-to-1 risk reward. For me, it works perfectly, and I don't see a reason to change it. But as I said, there are a lot of times when I use a bigger risk reward, like UJ. Sometimes doesn't really need a 20 pip stop loss. I use 10 pips stop loss and a 20 pip take profit. So it just depends from different setups. Well, looks like, yeah, pretty slow. I don't think we're gonna have any breakout this hourly. Gonna have to wait for the next hour to see what happens. Yeah, maybe on New York session the volatility is gonna come. Gonna have a better movement. Gonna have to wait and see. UJ is still in the middle of a consolidation. There's no much we can do here. If this candle would push higher here and close above this zone that I said, maybe we would consider taking a small risk buy here. But for now, I don't know. Should wait and see how it's gonna close. CAD JPY and USD CAD are a bit far. They need to drop. See, it's 15 pips above the support. Needs to come and push another 25 pips maybe to make that breakout, and that doesn't seem it's gonna happen at this hourly candle. CAD JPY is closer than USD CAD to make that breakout. It needs only 10 pips push, and in 5 minutes I don't think it's gonna happen, but we'll see. Euro USD, we'll see. This needs to close also below. This needs to close also below, and we'll see what happens after. We need a retest on this level to continue and fill this range to the downside. Yeah, this was a perfect setup. It was a textbook trade on Euro USD. We'll look for another entry once it closes below this level. UJ, let's see. Let's see what happens with UJ. Needs to push a bit higher than this, and then we will see what happens. We'll see if we can trade this middle zone with a, see now, this is the time when we can use a very small stop loss. We can use only 5 pips stop loss here and 15 pip target. Then maybe even break this resistance and continue even more. But like I said, trading middle zones is a bit risky, always. Before taking a break and retest, you have to consider some things. One of them is to see if the breakout candle did hit a zone before coming for a retest. For example, if you had this breakout candle here, you should look left and see if you got rejected from another zone. And when you go left, you see that it just hit resistance and now it's coming for a retest. And this resistance now makes chances are a lot more higher than usual to be a fake out. And see how this closed back in the range, made a retest and went all the way down. This is one of the things you should look out when you take a break and retest. And this is one of the main reasons why fake out happens. And yes, I always use 1 hour for candles to close, no lower than 1 hour. Man, Euro USD is very close to break this, but let's see what it's gonna do. It has another 3 minutes. If it did stay below, that would be great. What do you think about GBP AUD? GBP AUD, let's take a look. I think nothing for GBP AUD. It's messy. And I haven't been trading GBP AUD because it's very volatile and 20 pips most of the time is not enough for this pair. Because it moves a lot, even though it respects levels, but before making that move that we want, it makes big retracements, even though it still goes in our way. But it just 20 pips, it's not enough lately for it. So that's why I'm skipping it lately and not trading it. Yeah, looks like Euro USD is gonna close above, no breakout. In the meanwhile, USD JPY is gonna close pretty good. Let's see. I'm gonna look for an entry maybe on UJ. Let's see if it comes back for a small retrace before. Yeah, I'm not gonna take it because the reason is daily. Can't take a trade in the middle of this consolidation on 1 hour when we are on the daily resistance. So for me, we need to close above the daily resistance here. We need to close above this, and on lower time frame would mean to close above the consolidation box. That would be the best, even though this can continue up now and fill this range. But for me, it would be risky, then there's no point of making this risk here. The best would be to wait for the break of this consolidation. Yeah, like I said, GBP AUD, it's no trade for me here. See the 4 hour? If you look on the 4 hour, you're just getting rejected from support here. There's no trade. And I said that 20 pips is not enough for stop loss here. It makes some huge retracements, so I would better stay out of GBP AUD. Because there are better pairs that are safer than GBP AUD. Yeah. UJ can make a retest of this, but like I said, I'm not gonna take it. I took 2 trades in London, so I would wait and not take any trades until New York session now. Maybe take another trade on New York if we get a close, for example, above on UJ. But for now, I think there's no trade. And I would suggest also you to wait for New York session because also it comes more, it starts to move, I hope so, starts to move more and we have more volatility. So we can take another trade here. I hope we break this because it's been too long consolidation here. And we have some other setups that are coming. You can wait for Euro USD here to break below, then can take the retest and continue to the downside. Also you have CAD JPY. Once it breaks above, you can enter here at 790.450. Around 450 somewhere here. You can enter 350. I think 15 pips stop loss would be enough here. Or you can use 20 pips stop loss just in case. If it does close below, you can have more room to manage the trade, and if it does close below and comes then for a retest, you can exit on the retest and close at break even. But I think it's not going to be needed because once it breaks here, it can easily continue up, and as I said, we have a 50 pip range to fill here. Yeah, pretty big range. It can be a very nice move. The same is on USD CAD. And the same is on Euro USD. Plenty of setups coming. Can you give me your opinion on your NSD CAD chart? Okay, let's take a look at New Zealand CAD. It's not a pair that I trade, but anyway. Okay, first thing here, stay the hell out of this prayer. It's crazy consolidation. This is crazy consolidation. So what you should do here is you have to wait for a break below this, then a retest, and this has very high chance and to continue all the way down. Then a big move can be expected here. Next zone looks like this support here. Yeah, so I think you should wait to break this level. 0.87200. For buying, I don't think you should even think about buying here. You should wait for a break either to a downside here or to the upside here. It's big consolidation. The only thing I would do here, I would wait for a break here and retest, and there's plenty of room to go to the downside after. Wait for a break of this level because there's no trade here. Look at all this consolidation. It's too messy. Wait for a clean break to the outside of this box, then start to think about entry here. It's too much consolidation. Same as UJ here, that's taking too much time. Well, let me take a 4 hour. Okay, perfect. We have a 4 hour close back in the range. See the middle zone that I said we have here? If you go left, you can see where the zone is. See? Actually, we have a break above. Yeah. Now I started to think to take some buys here. Since we got closed above this, looks like this can continue easily. The only thing that's bothering me is the daily candle, the daily resistance. Even though the 1 hour and 4 hour looks good to continue up, but the daily makes me uncomfortable because we're still at this. Even though on the 4 hour we have a breakout, the daily can cause us some problems. Still, you see how big this 4 hour candle is. There's no sign, there's no, it doesn't make sense now to go all the way down again. It can only come lower here to make this retest and continue up. Yeah, I think maybe taking this low risk would be nice. Like I said, 5 pips stop loss maybe. But I don't know, it's still risky. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm gonna take a buy on USD CAD, on UJ. So here's the plan on UJ. Gonna take a buy based on the 4-hour chart, and I'm gonna use lower stop loss. I'm gonna use lower risk, just to be clear, lower risk than usual. So now I took a 5 pip loss on UJ, then a 13 pip win on Euro USD. So I'm just gonna win a small portion of my wins on Euro USD, and this trade is going to be taken based on the 4-hour. You can see which zone I'm referring to, this one, but the risk should be lower than usual just because of the daily is at resistance and can cause some problems. That's the only worry for me. Now we're having the retest here. And let's see how many pips I'm going to use here. 370. Yeah, I'm going to use a 7 pip stop loss here on UJ. And we'll see target. First target will be filling this range to the upside. Then we'll see if we can break and hold some runners through that. So just so you know, again, taking this 4-hour trade based on this 4-hour support here, which I think should get respected, even though the breakout was not strong enough, and I think it should continue. Also, we had this fake out on the 4-hour, which on the 1-hour it respected the zone, but the move was not enough. It only moved like 10 pips to the downside and still couldn't continue and came back in the range. Now 4-hour came and closed above the breakout candle. Now I think this is the retest for continuation to the upside to fill this range, which is a range of how many pips? 12 pips from the entry, 13 pips. But as I said, I'm only using 7 pip stop loss, which is very small. And yeah, so this is just an example that you don't always need 20 pip stop loss. Yeah, on the 1-hour, we're in the middle of a consolidation, but we closed a bit above that middle zone that I said every consolidation box has. So let's see. It's a bit risky, as I said, but I'm gonna try it. I think this should continue and fill the range because it doesn't make sense after this big bullish candle price to continue all the way down. It just doesn't make sense, even though everything can happen. Well, in this case, I think it should continue up. Okay, somebody saying check NZD JPY. I don't know why you guys trade these kind of pairs. Honestly, there's no need because you have the major pairs, you have a lot more information and everything on the major pairs. They respect levels better. Fake out. Somebody said fake out on NZD JPY. I don't know. There's no trade for me here. It's kind of messy. Yeah, I wouldn't take anything on this pair here. It's not clear for me. Euro USD, it's going perfectly, but unfortunately we got stopped at break even. If we would still hold, still we got 13 pips, but yeah, it's coming all the way down and filling this range like I expected, but we didn't get that break and retest before this. That's the thing. So EU is done. It already made the move. I don't think I'm gonna have a chance at it. UJ, let's see how it's gonna go. Currently on buys, just so you know again. Can you check GJ? Yeah, why not? This is GJ. Like I said on GJ can continue down easily based on the daily. And like I explained before, we had this daily zone here. We had this break and retest. It went deeper than expected, but still came back and closed below. This candle didn't close above, continued up the next candle, still couldn't close above, came back down, closed below this range. Now this might be the retest of this close back in the range, retest, and can't see this continue all the way down on GJ. So looking for entry on GJ can be this zone here that I said before. You can wait for a close below this, a retest and continuation. We'll see how UJ goes. I have a 7 pip stop loss, not too much. I'm only risking a small percentage of my win, so there's no need to risk your profits. And I said that I'm gonna wait till New York session, but yeah, I think I'm gonna hold this up to New York session and see what happens. If volatility comes, we'll see. And as I said, it doesn't make sense now this to go all the way down unless something happens, but I think this should continue up and fill this range of 10, 12 pips, 30 pips, 13 pips. What was the number? So we'll have to wait and see. Okay guys, I'm gonna have to go now, and I told you what I'm expecting on these kind of pairs. I'm expecting this CAD JPY trade to close above a retest and continuation. The same thing is on USD CAD. Euro USD thing is already made the move, so I don't think I'm gonna take the retest on this because it already touched support here. And so Euro USD is out of the picture. UJ currently in. We'll see what happens with the UJ. Yeah, so these are the trade that setups I'm looking for on New York session. So we will see what happens on New York session. For now, I'm just holding this UJ trade. We'll see what happens. And we'll keep you guys updated. So thanks all for being here. I hope this was helpful for you guys. And no, I don't think I'm gonna come back for New York session. Since we did London, I don't think I'm gonna do 2 sessions. If I do a session, a live stream, it's gonna be either London or New York session. So it's gonna be different. Not every time London, not every time New York session. It's gonna be, sometimes London, sometimes New York session. We'll see, whichever is gonna be more successful. For me, London session was the best since I started to trade. One of the best trades happened during London, so we'll see. London is always good. You get some nice trades. Okay, thank you again. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. If this was helpful for you, give it a like, invite your friends, and let's grow this community together. Thank you all. Have a nice day and manage your risk. Don't risk too much. Be careful. See you guys all. Yes, is there a way to know when you are live? Yeah. Go to my page on Instagram, click on the link on bio, and that's my Telegram channel when I send the links. That's my Instagram, and you can go on my bio and you have the link to the Telegram. Thank you guys. See you. Have a nice day again.